Rensselaer County District Attorney Joel Abalove was indicted on 2 official misconduct charges and 1 charge of first-degree perjury for his handling in the April 2016 shooting of Edison Thevenin. An internal affairs report revealed that Troy Police Chief John Tedesco was urged not to make public statements exonerating Sergeant Randall French 2 days after the shooting of Edison Thevenin. Instead, Chief John Tedesco said French had acted in line with the law and his training.
All right, guys, I do have a Tuesday morning editorial for you. It's a short one. I'm going to make it short here, and then I'll get your comments and your thoughts in the comment section below. I will put a link to this story in the description box below. I believe I did an editorial on this. I'm not sure. I know there's 1 or 2 things that have happened in Troy, but they have an update here. Something they discovered. Internal probe concluded Troy police sergeant lied about fatal shooting. The department never acted on the report filed last year by an internal affairs captain. They never acted on it. This is out of New York, Troy, New York. Remember, I don't know if it was this guy I did the editorial on, but if not, then they got problems, don't they? An internal investigation by the Troy Police Department found a patrol sergeant, I don't think I did an editorial on this, who fatally shot an unarmed DWI suspect in 2016, had improperly forced the man's car off the road, and later lied about that and his claim of opening fire as he was trapped between his cruiser and the suspect's vehicle. The 69-page internal affairs report, which was completed last year but never made public or acted on by the department's leaders, recommended sustaining 4 disciplinary charges against Sergeant Randall French, including unjustifiable use of deadly force and providing false testimony related to the death of 37-year-old Edson Thevenin in the early morning of April 17, 2016. The report was issued by Joseph L. Centani, a Troy police captain who heads the Detective Bureau and had also worked in internal affairs. Centani's report characterizes French's account of the shooting as inconceivable. What movie is that? It was just inconceivable. Tell me what movie that is. So Centani's report characterizes French's account of the shooting as inconceivable and said the sergeant's empirically untruthful statements cause disquiet because they're all interconnected as they relate to his justification surrounding the first 2 shots which occur prior to him becoming immobilized between the vehicles. French fired 8 rounds through the windshield of Thevenin's 2000 Honda Civic after the driver fled a traffic stop minutes earlier as French tried to arrest him for DWI. An autopsy revealed 7 of the rounds struck Thevenin, who was heavily intoxicated, including the fatal shot that pierced his right collarbone. Centani citing evidence that included forensic analysis of the vehicles and statements from officers and civilian witnesses at the scene of the 3 a.m. incident, concluded that French violated departmental policies and the law by sideswiping and forcing Thevenin's vehicle into a concrete barrier on the Collar City Bridge as Thevenin apparently attempted to drive out of the city. The report describes French's decision to allegedly ram Thevenin's vehicle as an unjustifiable act of deadly physical force. The report concludes that after Thevenin's car hit the barrier, French jumped out of his cruiser, intentionally placing himself in the path of Thevenin's vehicle, and fired 2 rounds through the driver's windshield. Centani determined that French then moved to his left, firing 6 more rounds through the windshield as the Honda lurched forward into his legs. French claimed that he and another officer had boxed in Honda sedan after Thevenin made an illegal U-turn on the Collar City Bridge and crashed into the barriers he was being pursued. Centani cited unexplained damage on the right side of Thevenin's Honda, including a severed side view mirror and the left side of the sergeant's cruiser, to reach his conclusion that French rammed the suspect. The report states, quote, although Thevenin's actions should bear a certain level of culpability in this matter, of course, Sergeant French engaged in several reckless acts, which placed him and Thevenin in a precarious position, which greatly contributed to the outcome in this matter. 2 civilian witnesses who saw the incident, why weren't they recording? However, told investigators they saw 2 police cars following Thevenin's Honda and boxed it in once it hit the concrete barrier. Those witnesses, Keith Millington and Philip Gross, did not indicate they saw a police vehicle sideswipe the Honda. Why weren't they recording the police? Why weren't they recording? Why didn't they have their smartphone cameras going? In an interview with Internal Affairs last year, French was shown diagrams of the vehicle's positions following the shooting, and he allegedly acknowledged that if he was standing next to his police cruiser's driver door open upon exiting, Thevenin's vehicle couldn't strike him. James Caruso, Cooperation Counsel for the City of Troy, issued a statement Monday evening challenging the integrity of the Internal Affairs report. Caruso said, quote, an independent third-party review conducted by an experienced legal expert found that the internal report was fundamentally flawed and inconsistent with the facts of the case. Further, this professional analysis concluded that the findings and recommendations contained in the ISB report were contradictory to the findings of the experts for both the plaintiff and defense, as well as the findings of the Office of the New York State Attorney General. Did you guys get that? The city has declined to identify the experienced legal expert cited by Caruso and has delayed responding to a Freedom of Information law request the Times Union filed last month for that information. Thank you, Times Union, for this story. I'll put the link in the description box below. Times Union gave us this story. They have filed a Freedom of Information law request, which we call FOIA here, and it's been delayed. Oh, we got to find out. We got to make sure it's right. Make sure it's right before we release the information. French asserted during the internal review last year that he pulled his gun and opened fire after being pinned between the vehicles. His account was contradicted by witnesses, including a captain who was at the scene, Matthew Montanino, who said French had fired 2 separate volleys of shots. And this story is really long, and it goes on and on and on. There's another report by Officer David Dean, who arrived at the scene, saw Thevenin on the ground outside the vehicle, his hand reaching around Montanino's leg, had done nothing wrong when he struck the dying motorist with a baton, causing him to let go of the captain's leg. The dying motorist struck him with a baton because he grabbed the captain's leg. Pop! He was dying. He was grasping for help. So there's a whole bunch of other stuff here that if you want to read it, you can go through it. But the main gist of this editorial is that this guy lied. And as you saw the first line that I read, department never acted on a report filed last year by an internal affairs captain. They never acted on it. We've investigated ourselves and found something wrong. Oh shit, file it. And now they find out he lied about the fatal shooting, according to this story. Thank you, Times Union. Guys, have a happy Tuesday. I'm here letting you know what's going on with law enforcement across your nation. I really got to go. I'm out of time. Wish I had more time. I do not. But there's your editorial for today. This guy from Troy, New York, police sergeant. If you live there, guys, your police department is kind of funky. I think we need some activists in Troy, New York. What do you guys think? Thank you for watching, guys. I will talk to you later. I will have some more editorials for you if I can. Tomorrow I got to go to court. I'll let you know what's going on with that too. News Now Ukaipa. I'm out.